Hello, good evening, and good morning, everybody out there. My name is Faiza Alam. I am a NetSuite functional consultant at BISP Solutions, and I welcome you all on the BISP trainings. From today onwards, we'll be starting an inventory management module, which is a part of supply chain management module that falls under the ERP. And we will be having an introductory session today, and in our upcoming sessions, we will be learning some more features of the inventory management module. So let's start. So our today's agenda would be first, we will be having an introduction of inventory management. Then we'll be looking at the inventory management setup. After that, we will be moving towards the enabling features for the inventory management, and at last we'll see how the inventory can be set up as in terms of location, like setting up of inventory at single location or multiple locations. Before moving towards our today's concern, that is inventory management, we should know what is an inventory first. So inventory refers to all the items, goods and materials that is held by a business for the purpose of selling it into the market in order to earn profit. It can be of any type. I mean, there are various kinds of inventory. The first category of inventory is raw material. So under raw material, uh, there comes, all the materials that are needed to turn our inventory into a finished products. Next type of inventory that we can have is a work in process or progress, I would say. So whatever direct and indirect raw material a business uses to create finished goods is the work in process. Another type of inventory is finished goods. So finished goods are the completed products that are readily available for sale to the customer into the market. It is, usually the things that we get from the market. So that comes under the finished products. The last category of it is merchandise. So merchandise represent the finished goods a company buys from a supplier for future resale. Like, the finished products that is again that a company buys from a supplier for the purpose of future resale will be falling under the merchandise type of inventory. So these are the four categories. It can be a raw inventory, can be a raw material, it can be work in process or progress, it can be a finished goods, or it can be merchandise. In simple or a layman term, I would say that inventory can be anything. Like it can be from very small units that are held at a storeroom to a large warehouse that is full of goods for a big box chain. So that can be come under the inventory. And the important thing to note over here is that an inventory is one of the most valuable asset for the company. It can be taken up for the company like, it is an asset. Usually the inventory falls under the current asset, so it is an important asset for the company. It can also be taken up as a liability. Like, as a large inventory carry along with that, why I'm saying that it is a liability, just because, if we talk about the large inventory, so it carries the risk of spoilage, theft, damage, or shift in demand. So this is about the, basic introduction of inventory, what inventory is. Another important thing that people gets confused between inventory and stock. So let me clear this thing to you, that there is a difference between stock and inventory. Let me tell you this. So stock is the supply of finished goods that is available for sell. And if we talk about inventory, so inventory includes both finished goods and components that create a finished products. We can say that all stock is inventory, but not all inventory is stock. So this is about a brief or no a small explanation of inventory. Now we'll be moving towards our inventory management. So inventory management is the process of managing inventory from raw material to finished products. It is the process of ordering, storing, using, and selling a company's inventory. It also includes the management of raw material and finished products, as well as warehousing and processing of such items in an efficient manner. Good inventory management begins with having accurate and accessible information about the inventory. It is important for business of any size, knowing when to restock inventory, what amounts to purchase, what price to pay, as well as when to sell and at what price can become complex decisions. And these decisions can very well be taken if the inventory is properly managed and planned in the organization. And these questions are, very well answered with the help of a proper and a planned inventory. With effective inventory management, we can streamline the stock levels to reduce the cost and maximize profit. The inventory management can very well be helpful for reducing the cost, as by following the various methods and techniques for controlling the inventory, we can reduce the cost and maximize. And ultimately, when the cost gets reduced, we'll be having a maximum profits. That is the ultimate aim for any business, to lean the cost and to improve or maximize the profit. So this aim can very well be achieved if the inventory is, effectively and efficiently managed. So there are various, objectives, or I would say there are various goals for which an inventory is to be managed. The main aim, the basic objective of inventory management is to help warehouse managers to keep track of the inventory levels. It will not only serve to improve performance of the organization, but it also, useful for preventing theft, and with the help of which the product tracking and security can be very well be done. So there are certain objectives for inventory management. Yes, so there are certain objectives of for inventory management, because not only improves the performance of the organization, but it also helps in maintaining the quality of the product. And it also prevents them from theft or being damaged by continuously tracking and security, providing security to the product. So here we have certain objectives listed over here. So first is greater insight. The first objective of inventory management is greater insight. Like, in order to ensure a continuous supply of material and stock in the warehouse, so that the production could not get suffered at the time of customer demand, a proper and a well-planned inventory management is required. like with the help of a sales forecast and all, we can have a very greater insight. And there are various methods and techniques that are followed in the inventory management, with the help of which we can have a very greater insight, so that the production could not suffer and we can very well achieve our goals. After that, the other objective and goal of inventory management is avoiding stockouts and excess stock. So, with the proper planning of inventory, we can avoid and reduce the chances of overstocking and understocking also of inventory. Like if we have a clear and a very, proper picture of the demand and supply, so we can very well manage our demands based on, based on the customer's requirement or based on the requirement of the business, and with the help of which we can maintain the stocks as per their needs, and we would not be having the excess of stock that affects our cash flows and that affects our balance sheet. The other objective of inventory management is cost saving. So, the ultimate aim of every business is to, save the cost or reduce the cost so that the profit could get enhanced. So, inventory management helps in optimizing various costs that are included in inventory, like there is purchase cost, there is carrying cost, storage cost, etc. And there are various other costs that can very well be, managed if the inventory management, if a proper and an efficient inventory management procedure is followed in the business. Quality assurance. Inventory is very much to do with the quality, like whether the quality of how the quality can be measured very well, so it can be taken up under the inventory management to ensure the quality of goods at reasonable prices and to minimize loss. How can we minimize the loss that arrives due to wastage, damages, and various other uncertainties or discrepancies in the business? An accurate and proper inventory management is required for this purpose. The other feature or objective, I would say, of inventory management is more organized warehouse. So, in order to ensure the everlasting inventory control, so that the material shown in the stock ledger and the various other reports should be physically available in the warehouse. With this process helps the managers and the other warehouse team members to see the stock levels at a glance, and in this manner we can have a very well organized and properly planned warehouse where we kept our goods. The last objective of inventory management is increased profit. Increased profit means the ultimate aim of any business, is to enhance the profit. So, a better understanding of both availability and demand leads to higher inventory turnover, which leads to greater profit. And if we talk about the inventory turnover, so the inventory turnover ratio is one of the key metrics the managers use to determine whether they are doing a good job or not. If the inventory turnover ratio is high, so it means that they are earning profit, or vice versa. So this thing, the uh, objective of increasing or enhancing profit uh, will be achieved if the inventory, or I would say if an efficient and an a planned inventory management is followed in the business. So by following, a proper inventory management schedule, we can very well achieve these objectives. Like, it provides us the greater insight. Then with the help of inventory management, we can avoid the stock outs. Means we should not have a very, less stock, or we should not have any excess stock, but we should maintain a proper and an optimum level of our stock in order to fulfill customer demands at a reasonable price. Then we can achieve the objective of cost saving if the inventory is very well managed. So we can reduce the cost, like purchase cost and various other costs that are involved in the production process. After that, we can achieve the objective of quality assurance, like if we are committing our customer good quality, so that should be that should very well be checked before making delivery to them, before making the supply of it. And if the since under the inventory management, various reports are created and stock ledgers are prepared, with the help of which it provides insight, a more clear insight to the warehouse manager, to have a very well organized warehouse where they used to keep their materials in stocks. After that, when all these things are very well arranged, so we can have an increased profit. That is the aim of any business. So these are the various objectives which are very much needed for achieving success into the business. Our next concern under the inventory management introduction is what are the various methods and techniques that are used to handle the inventory management. So various kinds of techniques are used based on the requirement of the business. Like some of the methods includes ABC analysis. The other business are comfortable with just-in-time management, that is JIT. Other companies follows material requirement planning, that is MRP. Some businesses follow economic order quantity, that is EOQ. And various businesses have days sales of inventory. So, based on the requirement of the business or needs of the company, various methods are followed. So the first category that we have is ABC analysis. So under this technique, products are categorized based on the order of their importance. So here items are classified into three categories, that is highly expensive, moderately expensive, and least expensive. So based on the importance, based on the order of importance, the items or the products have been categorized based on their value. Some are high expense, some some are of very expensive, some are of average expense, and some are of very least expense. So in this manner we can have the ABC analysis of inventory management. The other feature of it is just in time management. So this method allows companies to save significant amount of money and thereby reduce waste by keeping only the inventory that is required to produce and sell products. If we talk about the just-in-time management, just-in-time management technique of inventory management, so it is considered as a very risky technique, as an inventory is purchased a few days before it is needed for distribution or sale. So maybe there are chances that it can have a bad effect on the customer. So so the reputation can get hampered. So it is not necessary that if the just-in-time management is followed, so every time a business gains profit, but this this technique can be very risky, because it is because the because the goods are purchased only if a few days before, and they are not able to fulfill the time order on time, so there must be some chances that their reputation under the in the customer eyes could get diminished. So just-in-time management is quite a risky technique. The other technique that we have is material requirement planning. So this approach is dependent on sales forecast. And that is, manufacturer must have accurate sales record to enable accurate planning of inventory needs, and to communicate with suppliers in a timely manner. So If we talk about the MRP, so it is totally dependent on sale forecast. Obviously, forecast are based on the uncertainty, so it also involves certain kind of risk if the sales forecasts are not made in a uh, accurate manner. So there are chances of certain losses. So the other technique that we have for the inventory management is economic order quantity. So this method is used by calculating the number of units a company should add to its inventory with each order to reduce the total cost of its inventory. And this economic order quantity is based on the assumption of constant customer demand. Means it is a kind of an assumption or estimation like this based on this demand we have to make this supply. So this model seeks to ensure that the right amount of inventory is ordered per batch so that there is not excess of inventory available on hand. So economic order quantity is based on assumptions for any regarding the customer's demand. The last method, the last technique that we have is days sale of inventory, that is a DSI. So it is a financial ratio that indicates the average time in days that a company takes to turn its inventory, including goods that are work in progress into sale. So it is based on the time period, this time period of sales. So this kind of inventory management has various terminologies associated with it, and it is dependent on the it is dependent on the average time in days usually. So it is about the days sale of inventory. So these are the techniques of inventory management that we have. ABC analysis, under which the products have been categorized into three category: highly expensive, moderately expensive, and least expensive. Just in time management is based on the requirement, like how much requirement do we get, and based on that we purchase the goods. So this is about the just in time management. If we talk about the material requirement planning, so it is dependent on the sales forecast. Economic order quantity is based on the assumption or estimation that is for customers demand. And days sales of inventory is concerned with the financial ratio, the ratio that is dependent on the time of that is dependent on the average time. So these are the methods, and based on the requirements of the business and company needs, every method or techniques varies. They take up the methods, and they follow the methods based on their requirement. So if we talk about the NetSuite application, so NetSuite inventory management is also concerned with tracking and storing the all the inventories in a very well planned manner, so that the production could not get hampered. So the NetSuite inventory management has been divided into two categories, that is basic inventory management and advanced inventory management. So if we talk about the basic inventory management, so there are also certain subdivisions that are made in it. It consists of inventory workflows, assessing stock level, that is assessment of stock level, adjusting inventory adjustment, and reviewing negative inventory. Apart from that, there are various other features that I have not mentioned over here. So under the inventory workflow, here we have the purchasing, receiving, manufacturing, selling, fulfilling, and replenishing. So this if we talk about the inventory workflow, so this is a life cycle, that consists from procuring, then to selling the goods to the customer. So the whole process is followed under the inventory workflow. It consists of purchasing, like how the material and the raw material is has been purchased. Then purchasing, after purchasing we have the option of receiving. We are purchased, we are done with the purchasing. Now we will be receiving that. After that, that receipt material is processed under our warehouse for manufacturing. After manufacturing, we are about to sell it based on the sales order given by the customers. So when we are done with the selling of it, we have to fulfill that order, fulfill the requirements of the customer. And if required, like there are certain replenishment is required, like if we want to add some more uh, items or products to our inventory, so for that replenishment is required. So in this manner, a proper workflow is follows that we'll be covering in our upcoming sessions. I'm just telling you a brief a general and a very small introduction of it. Then we have the assessment of stock levels. There are various terminologies or jargons that are used, like there is quantity on hand, and these terminologies should be, we should be familiar with these terminologies. Like there is quantity available, then quantity on hand, quantity committed, quantity back ordered, reorder point also is also there, then preferred stock level, safety stock, quantity on order, quantity to order. So these are the various terms based on which the stock level is assessed. Then we have the adjusting inventory, like if certain adjustments are required to be done, like if the inventory is less and we want to add some more units, so in that way the adjustment can be done. And in the NetSuite application, there are two ways for adjusting inventory. Like first, it can be done, it can be done on the serial or lot numbered items, and it can be done with the help of worksheets also. So the first way that under which the inventory can be adjusted is by filling a simple form, and we have to mention certain quantities that we want to adjust. We have to mention the subsidiary and location over there. And the other way is we can adjust inventory with the help of worksheets. So with the help of worksheets, we can adjust the inventory for so many items at a time. We are given a list of items, and we have to provide certain subsidiaries and locations over there, and we have to select the item, like for which item do we want to make the adjustment for. And after that, we can very well adjust the inventory just in a single go. Apart from that, under the inventory adjustment, there is an option of import. There is an import template that is available for adjusting inventory, and with the help of which we can also, adjust our inventory in one go by importing it with the help of CSV file. So this is about the adjusting inventory. Reviewing negative inventory, like there are various conditions and various scenarios in the business wherein the inventory gets negative, or so it can be reviewed, or it can be very well be taken up with the help of reports. We can have the view of our negative inventories under the reports. We have to provide certain date for it, and the location for where this inventory is available. And we can, if any negative inventory falls under that date or under that location, so it will be visible to us. And along with that, we can also have a view of this negative inventory into our reports. So this is about the basic inventory management. Along with it, we have reallocation of inventory and how the inventory transfer takes place. There are two ways around in which the inventory can be transferred. It can be transferred between the inventory can be transferred between bins also of the same location, and inventory can be transferred between different locations. So in this manner we can have the basic inventory management. The other feature of inventory management is advanced inventory management. So it can be used to automate the demand that is based on inventory replenishment. And this feature enables us to use item records to track lead time, safety stock, and seasonal demands for inventory. So under the advanced inventory management, we can have these features like lead time, safety stock, and seasonal demands for inventory. So we can, very well be uh, we can very well be understood this thing by going into these topics like lead time, safety stock, and seasonal demand for inventory. So advanced inventory management has these have these three features in it. First is demand planning, and based on demand planning the supply planning take place, and when the supply is planned, the customers are promised to fulfill their orders. So first we will know about the demand planning. So demand planning for demand planning is used to analyze that our stock demands needs. It helps us to have the right amount of stock on hand to fulfill the orders without having overstock in the warehouse. Further, demand plannings for any item is used to set up replenishment method to time based on the item record. So, for having a view of the demand planning, where can we manage? For demand planning, we are required certain demand plans and certain supply plans, and by doing so, we can have a very well demand planning. And this is, mainly dependent on the replenishment method, which is based on time period and all. And this all can be done by going into the item record. The other advanced inventory management feature is supply planning. So, supply planning helps supply planners to determine how to establish a criteria to fulfill customer demand, and how can we very well satisfy our customer as per their requirements. So, the objective of supply planning is to balance supply and demand to achieve the organization goals. Organization goals consist of increasing profit and providing better services to the customer, so the good relationship and good goodwill would be maintained in the market. So supply planning aim is to balance the supply and demand in order to achieve the financial and service objective. The last feature of advanced inventory management is available to promise, as its name suggests that we are promising our customer to get them their products available on time. So here this feature gives purchasing and sales department visibility into the defined ship date of goods. Along with that, it also enables us to check item availability based on the outstanding transfer orders, purchase orders, work orders, and all. Along with that, it also gives assurance or guarantee to the customer that they will receive the required goods by the promised date. So as the name suggests, like, there is a certain requirement for the item. And after checking availability of that particular item at all the locations, we get to know that by this date we will be having the availability of this item. So we can make a commitment, or we can guarantee, we can give assurance to our customer that by this date we'll be making you, or we'll be fulfilling you this order. So in this way, we can have the available to promise feature. So we are done with the inventory management features, with the basic inventory management features and advanced inventory management features. So our next concern is how can we, enable the features for inventory. So in order to begin the setup, In order to begin the setup, we must first enable the required features for inventory, locations, and orders along with their prerequisite features. So there are various features that are to be enabled before starting to work on inventory. So for that, we'll go into the application. This is my NetSuite home dashboard. So in order to see or enable the features for inventory settings, we have to go into setup, company, enable features. So this is the enable feature page wherein we can enable the features that are relating to company, accounting, transaction, items, and inventory. So for inventory, we are concerned with only these three subtabs, that is company, transaction, and item and inventory. So under the company, we have to enable this location features. So we can very well see that if I click on this field help, so here it is providing me that check this box to manage information and activity for distinct location within their company. For example, companies with multiple offices or warehouse can associate transactions with a location. Then you can view reports and data sorted by location. So here under the company subtab, we have to enable this location features if we are working on inventory. So we can see that this checkbox is already enabled here. The other feature that that we have to enable is we have to go into transaction subtab. Yes, so here under the shipping and receiving, you can see that if we have to check or enable these boxes, that is advanced shipping and advanced receiving. So it gives us the shipping, it gives the shipping and the accounting department separate processes for fulfilling and billing sales order. This advanced shipping is concerned with the sales order, so it will provide help to the shipping and the accounting managers to process for the fulfillment and billing process with if the advanced shipping feature is enabled. If we go down here under the advanced receiving, so here it also, provides help to the receiving and the accounting department, a separate process for receiving and billing purchase order. This is concerned with the purchase order. This advanced receiving is highly concerned with the purchase order. Like whenever any receipt or billing process takes place, so it will provide the receiving and the accounting managers separate process for them. So we are done with the two tabs now. The other feature that is to be enabled here is under items in inventory. Yes. So here, if we go down here under the inventory, so you can see there's inventory and multi-location inventory feature is already enabled. So if the company is using single location, so you can see that this feature is for maintaining an inventory of parts or finished goods that you want NetSuite to track. This is about the inventory and this multi-location inventory feature if the company is or if the business is dealing in multi-locations. So this feature is to be enabled, like it tracks inventory for multiple locations so that it can maintain a total count per location for inventory items. So we have seen that all the features are already enabled. We have to remember this. We have to remember that for setting up inventory, we have to enable the features by going into company, transaction, and items and inventory subtab. So we are done with the enabling feature part. Now the last concern for today, that is, inventory setup with location. So choosing to track each location can have a very big impact on our inventory. So if we talk about the setup of inventory in terms of location, so Here we have these three options: inventory only, inventory with location, and inventory with multiple location inventory. So if I talk about the inventory only, so the basic setup involves tracking inventory without setting up locations. But this is no in normal scenarios it is not possible. This setup is ideal if we have only one location. Like if we talk about the inventory only, so at least here we should have one location when we are creating an item record, so that this setup is ideal if we have only one location where we would be receiving, stocking, and selling our items. And with this feature is enabled, if this feature is enabled, we have seen that these features, all these features are enabled under our enable features tab. So with this feature enabled, we can create an inventory item records to track the inventory of items, parts, or finished goods, as well as their associated cost. So at least we should have at least one location while we are creating the item records. The other option that we have is inventory with location. So inventory with location feature enables us to define location records that identify offices or warehouses. Under this feature, a hierarchy of location can be created to track the information by location within group of location. Here we can take an example, like suppose there is a parent location that is named as Clinton. This is a parent location. So this Clinton location can create their sub locations as Maryland and Florida, and further, if there is any requirement, so Florida can further be divided into its sub-location. So in this manner, a hierarchy can be created. If we talk about the inventory with locations, means it is not necessary that only a single location is required, but a hierarchy can be created. A single location is there, its sub-locations can be created, and if any requirement persists, so those sub-locations can again have their subdivisions. The other option with it is inventory with multi-location inventory. So here we can use multi-location inventory to manage the inventory for distinct location. And after creating the location records, like I'm talking about point number two, that is inventory with location. After creating the location record, we can perform the additional setup procedures, that consist of the stage three, that is inventory with multi-location. So here we can track the purchasing cost, sales, income, stock levels, and valuation for each item in each location. We can also, transfer inventory between locations. So if we talk about the multi-location inventory feature, so I have told you just now that inventory transfer takes place between various locations. Like if there is a location A, uh, wherein some sales order comes and they do not have that much quantity, and after checking the requirements of for goods in other location, they come to know that location B has that requirement. So in that case, the the transfer of inventory can take place, means it can be transferred from one location to another location if the multi-location inventory feature is enabled over there. So this can take place between locations. The location that will be receiving the goods will be the destination location, and the location from which the goods are being transferred are the source location. So in this way, the transfer of inventory can take place. So here we are done with the inventory setup with location. We have seen how the inventory, actually set up in terms of location. It can be for a single location, and we have for inventory only. It can be a single location. If we talk about the inventory with location, so here we can have a hierarchy of location that can be created, so that it will be easy, like if there is a shortage of goods in one location, so help can be taken from the other location, so that a hierarchy of locations are created. Though the other feature of inventory with multi-location is, I have told you just now that when the transfer orders or inventory gets transferred between various locations of the same company or of the same brand. So all these things can very well be managed with it. So that's all about the introductory session of today. We have gone through an introduction of inventory management. We have learned about the various objectives. We have also got to know that what are the methods and techniques that are used under the inventory management, and they varies according to the companies or according to the nature of the industry. We have also seen for achieving which goals for the inventories to be managed, or it should be uh, effectively planned. After that, we have seen that under the NetSuite application, we have divided the whole setup into two parts, that is basic inventory management and advanced inventory management. And after that, we got to know how can we enable the features by going into company enable features under the company sub tab, under the transaction sub tab, and under items and inventory. We have to enable these features in order to make our work easier. And at last, we have seen how the inventory can be set up in terms of location, wherein we have learned these three things, like inventory can have a single location, or a hierarchy of locations can be created so that the production could not get hampered, sorry, so that the um, fulfillment or receiving of item could not get hampered, and inventory with multiple locations, wherein if a requirement is there, so the inventory could get transferred between the inventories. So that's all about the topic. In our upcoming sessions, I will be telling you about some more features of the inventory management, and we'll get to know about this. So, in case of any doubts and questions, you can reach out to us at www.bispsolutions.com. Thank you.